Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Tammy Talks here. Let's go ahead and get into Married at First Sight Season 14, Episode 15, Past Lives, Open Minds. This episode was boring. This episode was boring from start to finish. I have never liked the episodes where they like read the letter to their former self and they go visit their childhood home. I have never liked them ever. But let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. If you're brand new to my channel, I do breakdowns on various TV shows, interjecting my own thoughts, opinions, and theories into each and every recap. So, if you enjoy this type of content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thumbs up the video if you enjoy this particular piece of content, and then hop into the comment section, y'all. Let's see if we can pull it out of this boring episode. So let's start with Olajuwon and Katina. So they are back home in their apartment after going on the couples trip, and Katina says she is looking forward to more road trips with Olajuwon. I said, okay, girl. She then calls Olajuwon her future baby daddy. Okay, I said, and she said that he makes her feel like a superwoman. Katina, baby, we're not gonna go there because we're talking about the same thing every week with her, right? You got it. So she then proceeds to call the alpaca a sheep. And it's like, maybe y'all do belong together because both of y'all are dumb as fuck. He called it a gazebo. You're calling it a sheep. What sheep look like that? Katina, what sheep do you know looks like that? Sheeps don't have necks like that. I went back to work in the office this week, and this is not the stress that I need on my Wednesday. Come on, y'all. It is not that hard to remember I walked an alpaca. It's just not. Nonetheless, Olajuwon feels it's time for them to start locking in on the deep future. He feels like they need to start having some deep conversations about their timelines and what they both want out of life. Olajuwon likes to say that, I paid my student loans and I paid my house off when quiet as is kept. To my understanding, Olajuwon went to college on a scholarship. So if he does have student loans, they're very, very minimal. Still kudos to him for paying those off. Still not anything, to hate on about, but it's also... Case in point, my brother had a scholarship. My brother ran track and had a scholarship for college. He drastically has very, very minimal student loans compared to what I have as someone that did not have a scholarship. He only had to pay for when he got his master's. And, excuse me, and even then, he got some type of discount for working at the school, yada yada yada. So it's very different for my brother who can say, yeah, my student loans are paid off, and me who I didn't have student loans for school. I didn't have a scholarship. I only had loans for school. So there's a difference. I don't know why he keeps saying that. It's getting irritating though. And then y'all in my comments, shout out to y'all. A lot of y'all are saying that Olajuwon inherited his house from his grandmother. So if there was any type of payment to pay off the house, it was very minimal as well. So let's not put 20 on 10, my brother, and make it seem as if you're doing so much better. If you want to point out that you don't have debt, that's all fine and dandy. That's great. That means that you can, jumpstart your life in a different way than Katina has. But don't belittle her or, make it seem like she just did life completely wrong because she has student loan debt and you don't. You know what I mean? Don't do that. So Olajuwon feels like he's going to have to sacrifice traveling. He's going to have to sacrifice having kids within 2 years. And he's wondering if she will be able to satisfy him while also adding more to him. Olajuwon, what will you be doing for Katina? Have we ever thought about what Katina might be sacrificing by inserting herself into your life? Because she's not complimenting her life. You guys aren't walking side by side in life. She's literally going to be inserting herself into your life because that's how you want it. And I kind of feel so we go to Olajuwon's hometown. He said that he lived with his mother And I think he said he had three brothers and a sister. I think that's what he said. And he was saying how, we have all these kids in like a two-bedroom. So his bedroom was kind of like an enclosed porch. So he said he had all these windows all around because it was really a porch. It wasn't really a bedroom. He said his brother lived in the attic. So he said that he was raised in the hood. The projects have made him who he is. And because of that, he is proud of where he is and proud of how far he has come. Um, he said that he's talking to Katina. He said that he's tough on her, and sure, he gets upset easily, but that's because of how he was raised. So he said that he's from the streets, okay, and we used to play touch football outside, and you touch the car, okay, you touch the car, and that's out, that's a base, and it's like Olajuwon, like we are like I don't understand. Like, it seemed like he wanted to wear it as a badge of honor. You know what I mean? He was proud. Like, it's kind of like he wanted to say it. Like, I'm doing, like, look at how far I've come. I was raised in the hood. I didn't have nothing. Now look at me now. Look at me now, mama. I'm on TV. Like, that's the vibe I was getting from him with that whole thing. So it's just kind of weird. It was weird how he was doing it. And then Katina is like, I'm so proud of him because look at everything he's done, and he's so successful now, and he's still not ashamed of where he's from. Nobody should be ashamed of where they're from. I don't care if you lived in a shoebox down on the street. You should never be ashamed of where you are from because it made you the person you are today. I don't understand that. I wasn't raised in the hood by any means. I was what definitely inner city, but I would never. Now that I'm an adult and I live in the suburbs and all that other stuff, I would never be even remotely embarrassed to take somebody to my childhood home. You know what I mean? Like, that is a part of you. So Olajuwon showing us the projects that he lived in. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. I'm sorry. I'm just not. And I think a lot of it is because of his awful behavior that kind of makes you not want to give him what he's trying to give, if that makes sense. So, Olajuwon said they were raised differently. He said Katina was raised out in the suburbs. Her mother currently has a 5-bedroom house, 2 bathrooms. I said, all right, 2 bathrooms. Come on. Like, I mean, I guess if you were raised differently, then you view that kind of stuff differently. But I feel like Olajuwon, like, he wants to point out the differences in how they were raised. We have never heard Katina mention anything remotely about how she was raised or there being some type of disparity between their upbringings. So I don't even know why he brought that up. Again, it's because Olajuwon wants to make sure that he can hang it over her head. Look at where I came from and what I did and where I am now versus you had all these, you had all these luxuries and you were afforded this particular life, and he feels like he is still farther ahead of her than she. Like, it got on my nerves. So Katina takes Olajuwon to church. And she talks about how she was in a purity class, which I forgot what it's called. There's actually an actual name for it, but it's basically a class where you vow to practice abstinence before marriage. And she was saying how that's where she met her best friend and she loved going to church. She was raised in the church. Olajuwon cuts her off and says, yeah, because, my dad wasn't around. But we're not talking about you or your family right now. You should have talked about that when we were down in the hood. This is Katina's turn right now. Like, stuff like that bothers me. I can't stand people who, when you're telling a story, has to me to it. Let me get my story out. Let me talk about my pain or my prize without you interjecting and being a Mr. Me Too. You know what I mean? I can't stand when people do that. Because I will talk right through you like I didn't hear anything you said. So Olajuwon said, yeah, my dad would show up on Sundays and we would go sit through one session. That's the session. Session? That's how I know you don't know the Lord. Church is not a session. It's a service, sweetheart. It is not a session. He said, then we would stay for another session, and then we would go get cheeseburgers. And it's just like, All right. Then Katina talks about how her faith is super important to her. I guess her during the beginning stages of this journey for them, her mother was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she said that she was never like scared for her mother's health or her mother's life because of her faith with God. God is her best friend, so she's very confident that God is not going to take her mother away from her this particular way. So, of course, Olajuwon, Mr. Me Too, yeah, because my mom, breast cancer too. And it's like, but basically, Katina wants to raise her children in church. And Olajuwon, yeah, so that they know that, if they can't talk to anybody, they can talk to God, have a friend in Jesus. And it's like, let's move on from this scene. Because he was up in there cussing in the church, in the Lord's house. He's in there cussing. He's not paying attention to her because he's too busy fixing that big ass Mr. Rogers sweater. When is the season over? I am sick and tired of seeing Olajuwon. So later in the episode, we see Dr. Pepper comes over to their apartment. I guess Dr. Vivian is just done from the show. So Olajuwon said he feels good with Katina. Things are going good with them. When they do have an argument, you can go to the bathroom. When you come back, it's like, what? Were they even arguing? So he said that recently they had an argument that got very heated and escalated quickly. And he told her, can you just shut up for a minute? He said that he went to the bathroom, but when he came back, he immediately apologized to her because you are my wife, and I should not speak to you about that ever. And it's like, how many times have you told her to shut up or talk to her in that particular way versus how many times did you apologize? Because I feel like a Katina and Olajuwon definitely put on the act on these cameras. I feel like when these cameras are off, they are complete and utter different people. I'm not buying for any 1 second that they are this couple because we don't see them have any real conversations on screen. You know what I mean? We don't see them getting into it on screen. I know for damn sure that they are arguing. We're just not seeing because I feel like they wait to have those particular conversations off screen. So he said that he feels like they need to kind of progress by having deeper conversations. Olajuwon brings up how they both discussed at the wedding that they wanted to have kids within 2 years. And he said that he doesn't know if she can finish her degree while having kids and being a wife. And he doesn't want her to be overwhelmed while also sacrificing his happiness. Katina, who just last week said that she knows that she can do it, has now come in and said that, well, I agree, I don't want to get overwhelmed, and husbands demand a certain level of attention, and he likes a bit more than average. And it's like, Katina, girl, if you like it, I love it. Done. I have nothing left to give. So he's in his confessional crying, and he said that he thinks that she should dedicate her life to herself right now, and that if it's meant to be, he'll be waiting. So the producer asked, so you think that she should say no on decision day? And he said basically, absolutely. Because he feels that if you care for somebody and if you love somebody, then, I'm sorry, I got the after show was on, and I'm trying to look at his hand. Because I've heard, spoiler alert, I've heard that they are still married, but I've also heard that they are not together. So maybe they stay together? I don't know. Nonetheless, he thinks that she should say no on decision day to get herself together, and he's not going anywhere. She's going to say yeah because Katina wants to be married so bad that I feel like she's willing to put up with anything and do, like, it could be anybody in Olajuwon's shoes. She just wants to be married. And that's a very sad thing because she is still in her 20s. It's not like Katina is old. She's literally in her 20s. Like, what is the rush? What is the rush? But let me know how you guys felt about tonight's episode, and I will catch you guys in the next one.